Hey guys, it's Lego Guy here, and today I have a video of this Lego articulating crawler. You can see here it's got a cool red and black color scheme, and when I was making it, I kind of wanted it to have a sort of rock bouncer look. If you don't know what that is, look it up. They're really cool vehicles. So it's got two live axles, and they're actually portal axles, and that really helps with one of the design criteria I wanted to meet with this, which was have lots of ground clearance. So when making it, I used these big tires from the Klaus tractor. I have no idea how to say that properly, but that's how I think you say it. So I used the big tires, and for drive it's got two XL motors. They're actually mounted on the axle. It's called MOA, motor on axle. And so you can see there. And I did use differentials, and that's to help with steering. And because this thing has so much articulation, you can see there, most of the time it keeps all four wheels on the ground, so the differentials aren't a problem. Only a few times they have been. And another thing I wanted with this car, or this crawler, was for it to have normal front steer, but also rear steer. So essentially, these axles are the same. Just take one, and I flipped it to the other side. And then in the middle, we've got the battery box, and of course the S brick, which I control with my phone. So I'll turn it on here. It's got a little hatch there, and then play. And you can see there. Now the control profile for this is very interesting. You'd expect it to be drive and steer, but with rear steer, you can have different crawl modes. So you could crab steer if you wanted. Or you could just have a really tight turning radius. And that's where the differentials help. So straighten out the wheels. So you can see that rear steer really helps it to have a tight turning radius with the long wheelbase it has. But another cool feature with this driving profile is that I can control the throttle of each axle independently. So I can have only the front axle or only the rear axle. And what that helps with is if I'm in a position where I need to pivot, where I'm crawling over something, I can not drive the back axle, but then say I can turn the front axle and then drive, and in a situation where there's low traction, it'll sort of pivot the car to the side. So let me get something to crawl over. I'll just use this big cargo ship boat hull. Move that. I'll put this there. That won't be too hard. And then you'll probably notice that this car is pretty much symmetrical. It's hard to tell which way it's going, and the only way I know is with the tread of the tires. So now I want to drive the rear axle, and you can see that it helped to pull it up without putting too much strain on it. And now I can go down. Use that rear steer to help turn around in time. Straighten out the axles. And it is a little tricky to drive sometimes with that rear steer. It's hard to figure out which way to go. So I'll put it here and let's see if it can go straight over. So now I want to put a little pressure from the rear axle, but then only go with the front axle. And you can see there, I overdrove, I guess you could say, the front axle and underdrive the back axle. So I put a little forward pressure, but then it was able to pull itself up. Might have to take it at an angle. There we go, and then So you see, there's a lot of tricks with it to getting a good crawl over something. Straighten out my axle. And obviously it's not taken to the maximum of its capability right now, because clearly it's got a lot of articulation. And again, the differentials help with that for the back axle to sort of rotate as it goes up on one tire. You can see there. If I lift one, it sort of rotates like that. But yeah, anyway guys, that's my articulating crawler, and it's pretty cool, so I hope you liked it. As always, like and subscribe for more.